What's up, family? It's your girl Wisdom, and we are back with another episode. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope your vibes are always right, and if they not, we're gonna get them right. Okay, we about to get the vibes right. On today's episode, we are discussing how not to be a perfectionist as an artist. Okay, so you that clicked on this video, I'm talking to you. Okay. So get your little journal, get your writing utensil, and let's get right into it. As artists, I know that we can be very hypersensitive about the work that we create. And there is nothing wrong with that. Due to the fact, number one, that we do want to create something that's a really good product, and because we know what we're capable of and we know that we can do better. And that's like a blessing and a curse, just knowing that you can create things that are dope and you've done it before, but you want to continue on creating things that look great, right? And then also number two, just knowing that what you do is powerful. What you do is truthful. And so you want to make sure that you continue on that path. And I don't think that's wrong as artists to be hypersensitive about the things that we create. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But there is a problem when, as artists, we are super hyper focused on all the details, or we're trying to plan and articulate every little detail as we're creating our work, instead of allowing ourselves to process through our work and allow ourselves to just flow through our work. So that is what I want to get into, just to offer you guys some tips and tricks that I've learned, that's helped me along the way, that helps me be better as an artist, and just to be a cheerleader of my artwork and be a cheerleader of my process and how my process works. So let's just use this as an example. Let's say you just started off on a new art piece, right? You had this idea, a few colors have come through, or you at least have an energy or an element that you want to portray, or an actual theme that you want to portray on this art piece, right? And let's say you just started your piece and the process is not flowing the way you intended. So you get frustrated, you get upset. And so I'm here to tell you, as your artist goddess, stop trying to control the flow of your art piece. Again, I say, stop trying to control the flow of your art piece. Don't do that. Because when you get to that point where you're no longer having fun, if you are no longer having fun as you are creating, you need to take a step back. You need to take a step away from your art, and you need to look at it from a third person perspective. Or maybe you need to let it sit for a few days and come back to it and remind yourself of where the ideas was flowing from. Maybe you need to jot down some information that can help you along your piece. Now, I will say, getting frustrated is also a part of the process, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. But I do feel that even though we may be hypersensitive and hyperfixated on a way something is supposed to happen or how it's supposed to turn out during that art process, it's also truly important to have a balance, to allow ourselves to let that creativity just flow the way that it's supposed to, instead of trying to be so rigid all the time. If you're not having fun with your art, then baby, what you doing? What you doing? If you're not moving and grooving and got the good ass music playing, what are we doing? We're not having fun. We're not flowing. We're not in creativity. And you have to do that. You have to do that as an artist. One question that I do get a lot of the times is, how am I so confident in the work that I'm creating? Or how do I know that what I am creating is going to turn out in the way that I intended it for? And I'm here to tell you, anyone that's ever asked me that question, number one, you're asking the wrong questions. Number two, I don't know. I just know I have this idea and it's important for me to communicate it. I don't know what the end result is, and that's the fun part. That's the reward about the whole thing. The fact that I'm taking my ideas and I'm deciding just to put it on paper or put it on a canvas, and I'm trusting myself during that process and I'm following through with that process, that's the reward. So, and that confidence just stems from me trusting myself. I truly trust at the end of whatever I do and whatever I create, it's gonna look dope. And I feel every artist, if you're doing it for the right reasons, every artist should have that level of confidence. No matter what I create, no matter what that process is fit to look like, no matter who the intended audience for, if I love it, somebody else gonna love it. I don't risk creating an internal battle in my mind because it just takes away from the creativity. If I'm taking too much time sitting and trying to, get really accurate and get really strategic and plan everything about my about the art piece that I'm getting ready to create, I take away from the time of having to explore or trying something new or a new idea popping up because I'm being too rigid with my work. I definitely did notice this when I was growing up, like even with creative writing. And I don't know if anybody has ever done this, but the teachers would tell you to, okay, what's your main idea? Or they'll be like, okay, well, what's 3 things that you're going to write about that's going to be your 3 paragraphs? And then they'll be like, what's the first sentence of each paragraph? And then what's your body and what? And it would just be overwhelming for me because I was just like, can I just write and fix it later? Sometimes you just gotta write, sometimes you just gotta paint and then fix the bullshit later because it's all gonna be shit. Like, it's not supposed to look perfect in the beginning, and perfectionism does not exist. The limit does not exist. I had to do it. But perfectionism doesn't exist. Now, our own version of perfectionism exists, right? But it cannot always be attained because sometimes our level of perfectionist is unreasonable. And then that's where things kind of get misconstrued and the lines get blurred because we think we can do this and it turns out this way. And the reality is, it's like, no, it's not going to turn out the way that you liked originally. And it's not going to turn out the way that you originally hoped for. And you got to be okay with that. I feel as an artist, if you're not okay with pivoting, if you're not okay with navigating through your creative process, you are going to struggle. You are going to struggle. And I don't say that to trigger any egos, but if the egos are triggered, that's a good thing, okay? It's like, you need to be aware about something. But if you are micromanaging your process as an artist, stop doing it and learn to release the control. Learn to flow. Learn to paint outside of the lines. Learn to dance outside of the technique. Sometimes you gotta do that in order to find that spark again. So sometimes you have to be the little child that goes and touch the stove for a little bit and then it's hot, Sometimes you gotta do that. Another question that I get a lot of the times too, especially when I'm live on TikTok, is people ask like, okay, well, do you know how much the piece is? Or, what's the name of this piece? And I'll be like, I just started. How am I have a price for something that's not finished? Or how am I gonna have the name for something that's not finished? Sometimes I do, but that's just not how I work, And most of the times, like, I feel people that don't do art, sometimes they have this expectations like you're supposed to have everything figured out right then and there. And it's just like, most of the time I only have the details. I only have the energy. I only have, the message that I'm supposed to communicate as I'm creating this piece. And then I allow my work to reveal itself. I don't let my work control me. We are working together, trying to figure out what's the message that we're trying to communicate, And then also we're working together to figure out what is the best way that we can communicate this message, right? Whether this is through a element, whether this is a specific technique, whether this is through adding certain things within my art piece, like that is how it works for me. And I feel it's very important that though you may be going out to look at videos to help you out in your creative process as an artist, it is so important to follow how you feel. It is important to follow your flow. It's important that you are in tune with yourself so you know how to maneuver when it comes to your art process. You know, I will also be aware of how your art process is. Do you start off sketching? Do you start off, do you start off writing lyrics? Everybody's process is different, but it's really important to, give gratitude when you have those doubts and those fears that it may not be a good piece. It's important to talk really strong words and positive affirmations to yourself when you don't feel that you're doing your best in that process, or if something's not working out because you're trying a new technique. It's important to, number one, you can do more research to get more confident about the new technique, right? Or number two, you can step away from it and then come back to it when you have a different mindset. So those would be like the first few ways I would definitely say helps you not be a negative Nancy when it comes to your artwork, and just making sure that you are your biggest supporter. There are so many people out here in this world that are going to say something about your artwork. They are going to criticize your work. They are going to put your work and compare your work on a pedestal with other people. You need to be the first person not to do that. If you are the one person in your corner, that's all that matters. When it comes to other people viewing your work or you deciding to, showcase your work publicly, do not be the enemy of your own creations. Okay, and do not be your worst critic. You need to be the first person in the ring cheering yourself on. Okay, I need to hear the woohoos and the hell yes. Okay, when we finish with that artwork, or we're even in the process of that artwork, you know what I'm saying? Or even pat yourself on the back of those little moments when you finally get that thing that actually happens, right? You know how many tries it takes for me sometimes just to get the line work right? And I gotta work with my wrist, and then I have to erase it, and I be like, I'm gonna try again. And then as soon as I get it, I celebrate. I celebrate like this. I be like, ooh, okay, girl, I see you. You got them hands. You got the flick of the wrist. Like, I see you. That's how you got to big up yourself. And if you're not doing that, I'm going to need you to get on it. Get on it. Please. Become your number one supporter. Because the world is not going to do it for you. You got to do it first. The world will critique you first and criticize you first before they show you love. And that's just the truth. So you have to be the first person in your corner, no matter what it is that you're doing. Whether this is through your art, whether this is through you trying to be successful in the art world, whether this is you trying something new, or this is in your personal life. Be the first person in your corner, rooting yourself on. Okay? Just to wrap up on how not to be a perfectionist as an artist, we're just going to go through our key points, okay, in case you missed it. All right. Number one, release the control. Sometimes it is okay to follow the flow of your artwork and follow the flow of your creative process. You cannot be in control at every point and micromanage every point of your art process. Number two, don't focus on the what ifs, because the what ifs will get you in trouble. And what I mean by the what ifs, I just mean, well, what if this doesn't turn out the way that I intended it for? It's not supposed to. That's the whole point of creating. It's not supposed to turn out the way you imagined initially. Sometimes it's going to turn out better. And that's the reward. Do y'all see what I'm trying to say? It's not supposed to look like how you imagine. It's supposed to look better. So, debunk the what ifs. What if it doesn't look like it's not supposed to? And just leave it there, okay? Or what if I mess up? Mess up, please. Please mess up. You know, because you don't learn. You don't learn if you don't mess up. Just go ahead. Make the wrong scribble or scratch and then clean it up. Okay? Trust yourself that you can clean it up. Or what if people don't like it? Who gives a damn? Do you like it? And if the answer is yes, then keep going. And if the answer is no, fix it. You have the power to fix it. Well, what if nobody buys it? Now, I'm just stare at you on that one. We're not even gonna talk about that one. Somebody gonna buy it. Trust and believe that. If it was put with love and pure intentions in it, somebody gonna buy it. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Well, what if I don't finish in time? Be surprised. You don't know what you're capable of. If you really care about finishing it, finish it. Because you can do it. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because I literally finished a 3 foot by 3 foot in less than a month. In less than a month, in the mix of a hurricane. Okay? And I prepped it all for my art show to be ready. And I finished 2 days before my art show. You can do it. You can do it. You can do anything you put your mind to. Okay? Number 3, be present in the moment. Okay? Don't think about the future. Don't think about 2 minutes before when you messed up. Be present as you are creating and continue to follow your flow. Trust in your flow. Okay? If you out here thinking about too many different things, that's why you play music too. Play music. But if you out here thinking about too many things and then you thinking about what the end result's gonna be, or you thinking about the name of it in the midst of your flow, and you know that's gonna take you away from your flow, come back to center. Come back to center and be present. I digress. Our last one would be learn to trust your ideas and learn to trust what it is that you're doing more. Trust yourself more. Trust in your process. Trust in the next step. Trust that the next step is going to come. It's going to reveal itself as you continue going. Trust your color coordination. What is it? Just trust the whole process. You know, trust it more. Trust in yourself more. And that would help you dismantle over analyzing, over critiquing your work, and just being grateful for what it is and allow it to present itself to you. So yeah, I appreciate anybody who stayed, and I hope this message really did help, because these are things that have definitely helped me as I continue growing and evolving as an artist. So I hope that they can help you. So until next time, I will see y'all on the next episode. Bye.